Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to another edition of Face the Heels. This is episode 22. My name is Ben Cornett, and I want to quickly apologize for the delay. I just got home from work not too long ago, so I had to prep a little bit, so it cut into the 10 p.m. Eastern hour that we normally start. But we are here, we are live, and thank you for joining me tonight. On tonight's show, we're gonna review NXT Great American Bash from last night. That was on Peacock. That's one of their premium live events, and we'll also talk about the road to SummerSlam. As you know, this Saturday night, August 6th, SummerSlam. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait. In fact, as a bonus, this Saturday night before um, SummerSlam, before you guys tune into SummerSlam, I'm going to go ahead and do a SummerSlam pre-show prediction show. That'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. We'll go over the matches. We'll predict who we think is going to win. It'll be like a little 15, 20-minute episode, but I thought it'd be cool to do like a preview for the show, kind of get everybody all hyped up and excited to watch SummerSlam. Um, the last time we did this, I believe, was WrestleMania. I think it's WrestleMania or Elimination Chamber. I thought it was a lot of fun. We had some guests on. Hopefully, we can get some guests on this show for this Saturday. But that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to, make an announcement real quick. We'll do a pre-show before SummerSlam, get everybody all hyped up. We'll come up with predictions and see who's going to win. And talk about all the matches that are on the card. So I cannot wait to have everybody here. Hopefully you'll join us. So check that out. That is this Saturday night, August 6th at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, right before before SummerSlam goes on the air. So that'll be cool. But before we get into our topics tonight, I thought we'd pay a little respect today for a wrestler who passed away, unfortunately, today. For people who were wrestling fans in the 70s and 80s, Adrian Street, he was a Welsh wrestler from England. During the 70s and 80s, one of the first kind of flamboyant, outgoing personalities as far as like playing a guy who, how do I say this? Played like kind of a gay character. And if you don't know who Adrian Street is, let me show you. This is him right here. As you can see, he again wrestled in England throughout the 70s and 80s. Came up with this persona as a kind of a dressed up kind of like a woman. It was more for psychology, to get into wrestlers' heads during matches and stuff. He was one of the first guys to do this, and then he came to the States in the 80s, had some good runs throughout the territories. So, so rest in peace, Mr. Adrian Street. He was 80 years old, and one of the kind of the first pioneers of that flamboyant type of wrestler, to get more popular in the 70s and 80s. So rest in peace to him, and obviously rest in peace to Paul Rubens, aka Pee Wee Herman. And you're wondering, well, why are we talking about Pee Wee Herman on a wrestling show? Well, Pee Wee Herman was a wrestling fan as well. He made a couple of appearances in WWE. He was, if you remember back in the 2010s, WWE at the time were doing like a celebrity guest every week. They had guys like Bob Barker from Price is Right. They had Jon Stewart. I think Kevin Hart was on one of those as well. But Pee Wee Herman was a special guest, celebrity guest on the show. And they would do that every week. So Pee Wee was very popular in WWE, huge fan, loved wrestling. And more importantly, he was just one of the funniest guys in the business, just really comedic. Again, came out, he was Pee Wee Herman. He also did some stuff before he was Pee Wee Herman. He was in a couple of the Cheech and Chong movies. And then we all know, like, after Pee Wee's Playhouse, well, you know the story with the theater. I'm not going to get into it, but then he bounced back from that and had a pretty good career. So, yeah, rest in peace, Pee Wee Herman, or Paul Rubens, and Adrian Street. So, with that being said, let's get right to it and talk about the NXT Great American Bash review. I watched this last night on Peacock, and I want to first just start off by saying that I don't watch NXT every week, not like I used to. Obviously, it's kind of changed up a little bit over the last couple years, but also, I have a busy schedule too, so I don't always get the time to watch. I do pick it up periodically, and NXT is starting to get a little bit better. I was a big fan of the Black and Gold NXT back when we had Bayley, Charlotte, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe. During that era, like FTR, who were the revival back in NXT. You had Shinsuke Nakamura, Sami Zayn. That NXT was fun to watch. Yeah, Sasha Banks as well. But they did change it up a little bit, and I understand it is a sort of a developmental ground for up and coming wrestlers to prepare for the main roster. But it is a third brand if you're on national TV. So they've been on national TV now for the past few years, and so far it's getting a little better. But last night I did watch the whole Great American Bash show. I thought it was a pretty good show. We'll get into the matches. First off, they had the NXT tag team titles on the line. It was Gallus against Tony D'Angelo and Stax. Tony D'Angelo and Stax were the challengers. Gallus were the champs, and Tony D'Angelo and Stax win the NXT tag team titles. I thought it was a pretty decent match. The storyline goes that Gallus framed Tony D'Angelo, kayfabe. He was in prison for 3 months, and he got out and went out for some revenge, obviously, and they were able to take the NXT tag team titles. So, like I said, a decent match. Again, I don't follow NXT to the T every single week, but I do read up on the storylines in the dirt sheets, and I thought it was the right call. Baby faces get the win, they get the revenge and the belts. So, good match. Yeah, I enjoyed it. The next match was what they called a Weapons Wild match. That was Roxanne Perez going up against Blair Davenport. Now, Blair Davenport was for months the mystery attacker. Every week she would beat up somebody from behind. She wore a hoodie and just disguised herself, and it turned out to be Blair Davenport. And then she got into it with Roxanne. They had a feud, so now I watched NXT, the highlights last week, where Roxanne went into the convenience store where Blair was. They kind of reenacted the whole Steve Austin, Booker T grocery store fight back in 2001 on SmackDown, if you remember that. So they decided, okay, let's have a Weapons Wild match. This is a anything goes match, no disqualification, no countouts. You can use any weapons you want, tables, kendo sticks, anything that's not nailed to the ground or anything else. And it was a pretty good hardcore match. I thought the pacing was good. I thought Blair Davenport looked really good in the match. Obviously, it kind of reminds me of Paige a little bit, and and now Saraya and AEW, but not just because she's British as well, but she has that look, that hardcore mentality, that personality that's just mean. And Roxanne, as you know, babyface, very talented wrestler, very good in the ring, especially for her age. I think she's only like 22, 23, I believe. She's been wrestling for like 4 or 5 years now. So, and she also went to Booker T's wrestling school down in Texas. And last night the show was in Texas, in Austin, and She had her sister there and her mom there, so they kind of played that into the match a little bit. Blair Davenport, when she's beating her up, she would yell at her family, her mom, and says, kind of that heel type mentality. And like I said, good pacing, good storytelling in the match, back and forth. Roxanne came back. She put Blair through a table on the outside, went in the ring, and did her move called the Pop Rocks on the chairs, and she got the win. And she wins the match. Roxanne Perez goes on to win it. She, like I said, good hardcore match. It sometimes it can be a little messy with when women do hardcore matches. Obviously, it's we're still kind of getting used to that. The women doing hardcore matches that like 10, 15 years ago, you didn't really see much of that. Now you're seeing more of it. And it's good for, a personal rivalry, a personal feud that needs to end. So I'm predicting that this is probably going to be the end for of this feud for Roxanne and Blair. But again, both are very talented. I expect Roxanne Perez to get to the main roster soon. Same with Blair Davenport. I think both are going to be eventually within probably a year or two from now, either on Raw or SmackDown. So, they could really elevate that division, that women's division right now. So good match for both of those women. So my hat's off to them. So right now, real quick, we're going to get to some of these comments. You see, there's a lot of comments here tonight. Thank you guys so much. There we go. Let's see. Scott Thaler's first, as always. Sean Spencer, thank you for tuning in tonight, man. Nice intro. I appreciate that. By the way, they had a good show tonight, truth be told. It was Sean Spencer and Scott Thaler. They were talking about reunions, high school reunions. That was a fun show. They're very entertaining, you guys. If you caught that on the Ben Zone, it was on there. If you didn't, it is still on the Ben Zone, so check it out. You can check it out on YouTube as well. Let's see here. Sean Spencer, second only to Scott. Cool. Scott Thaler, Russ Bell, join us. Great idea. AJ Logan and Lucas Vincent. All right. Those are guys. I'm sure those are people they want to invite on the show. And as always, they want to come on, watch the show. It is above me, my social media handles on Twitter, or now it's X, I guess, because Elon had to mess with it. But it's BennyBoy702. As you're watching right now on my YouTube channel at Ben Cornett 9015, and on Facebook, and you're watching on the Ben Zone. If you're not in the Ben Zone on Facebook and you're my friend, I do have it on my own personal page as well, so you don't miss out. Good stuff. Those are the comments. So anyway, let's get back to the Great American Bash review here. There we go. The next match, we had Baron Corbin. He is back in NXT. They're doing a lot of this going back and forth with, members of the Raw and SmackDown roster going to NXT. For Baron Corbin, I think it's kind of good. Could kind of revitalize his career a little bit. He took on a guy named Gable Steveson. As you know, he made his NXT debut on the show as far as wrestling goes. And if you don't know who Gable Steveson is, he is a amateur wrestler at the University of Minnesota. He was also an Olympian. I believe he won the gold medal. So, he was signed to WWE in 2021, and he's still going to University of Minnesota, still competing on the collegiate team. And a fun fact here too, Shelton Benjamin was a former Minnesota Golden Gopher. He went to that school before he joined WWE as well. So a lot of alumni have gone to the University of Minnesota. So Gable Steveson is making his debut here against Baron Corbin. This match, this one actually ended in a countout. This was an interesting call. I would have thought they would give Gable Steveson a win here, especially with his debut. You know, you always want to, you know, when you have a debuting star, you always want to try to get him that win, try to build him up. And going through this match, I could see some of the inexperience with Gable Steveson. Now, remind you that he is a amateur wrestler who's learning pro wrestling, so it's a little different. You got to learn the spots, you got to the timing, and you know the time. Now's the key. The timing was a little bit off for me. It was a little bit off for both guys. I think, you know, again, this is Gable's debut in the ring. I'm not saying he did horrible, but for his first time, it could use a lot more work. You know, I don't want to insult him or anything like that. I'm not going to bury the guy. You know, again, his first match, a lot of things he could clean up, but that's going to come with time and experience and more ring work, obviously. And you know, NXT does go on the road in Florida for house shows, so that'll give the younger wrestlers and Gable Steveson, or Steveson, I should say, some experience. And that's really where you learn your craft, is at house shows, on non-televised shows. You get to work on your ring skills. Yeah, you have the performance center, but at the same time, you're not really actually competing in matches. You're getting that experience in front of a live audience. So Gable, it's going to take some time, but he's in for the long haul. He signed a multi-year deal with WWE, so he's got a lot of time on his hands, and hopefully he'll improve each week, and he'll get better and better. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, as far as the result goes, it was a count out. I guess that's okay. I would have preferred a winner, especially on a premium live event where, you always want to have those matches where you determine a winner. And yeah, it's okay to have countouts on like NXT or Raw or SmackDown, but when you get to a premium live event, I feel like you should have a winner. And this match didn't, but it is what it is. So overall, I thought it was, the timing was off. It could use a lot more work. It's more really on Gable, but that's not his fault. Again, I don't want to bury Gable Steveson. It's his first match. So the more reps he gets, the better. So yeah, as far as this feud goes, it'll probably go on for a little bit, and then that's pretty much it. So yeah. Real quick, I'm gonna take a swig here. Okay, great, that's better. The next match we had was for the North American title. This is a triple threat match, and as you know, the current champion is Dominic Mysterio. And a couple weeks ago on NXT, he beat Wes Lee for the NXT North American title with a little interference from the Judgment Day. I don't know about you guys, but I do like Dominic Mysterio as the NXT North American champion. I think he's been a great heel. Fans absolutely hate him, but he's doing his job, and that's the number one thing. You're doing your job as a heel to get the crowd to boo you like he does. And every week, every time he speaks, the fans boo louder and louder. So he's doing something right. I don't care what anybody says. I like this. I like Dominic being the NXT champion. Normally, I'll admit I'm not a big fan of a main roster guy holding an NXT title, but I think in this particular case, Dominic, right now, he also needs the ring work. He needs to have experience in the ring. So, he's kind of really in developmental, if you know what I mean. Even though he's a main roster guy, he hasn't had too many matches, and he needs some work as well. He's getting a lot better, but he's got the character down. He's got his mannerisms down. From a personality standpoint, he's decent on the mic, but it's just the wrestling part of it. He's still trying to get better and better. And it's good to have him hold that NXT title. Obviously, it also give a rub to guys like a Wesley, um, and everybody else he faces. So yeah, this is so it was a triple threat match between Dominic Mysterio, Wesley, and Mustafa Ali, and this match was pretty good for what it was. Again, triple threat matches are not really a favorite of mine, but this match was not bad at all. Wesley and Mustafa Ali, they very good in the ring. Their timing's really good. So they made Dominic Mysterio look really good. That's one of the things you want to do as a baby face. When you got a heel that's from a wrestling standpoint isn't all that great yet, you want the baby face to make him look good with the wrestling moves, be able to sell them, and just have good timing in the ring. And I thought this match did that. So kudos to Ali and Wesley. They made Dominic look really good, and I thought Dominic made Wesley and Mustafa look good as baby faces in this match. The action was good. It was nonstop. Nothing really, no real bad spots at all. So it was a lot better match than I expected. And Dominic Mysterio once again ends up with the win after Rhea interferes in the match. As you know, Mommy, she interfered, hit Wesley with the belt, and Dominic did the frog splash off the top rope, hit Wesley with it, and they got the win. So Dominic is still your NXT North American champion. And again, I'm okay with it because, for one, he's become a pretty popular figure on Raw and in WWE in general. So his character has really developed nicely. He just needs to really, own his wrestling skills, get better at that. And I feel like being an NXT helps him out. It definitely helps him improve in the ring and get his timing down. So I'm okay with this. I like Dominic as the champion, and I think he'll hold it for a little while, and then go back to the main roster, full time. But right now, it's good to see him on both Raw and NXT. On Raw as a character, in NXT, getting some, as a character and getting some ring time. So it's a win-win right there. All right. So after that, we had another title match. It is for the NXT Women's title. The champion is Tiffany Stratton, going up against Chase University's Thea Hale. This was a nice little build-up. As you know, Thea Hale, she's only like 5 foot, just 5 foot tall. A little spark plug. I do like her personality, and she's only 19. So they said she graduated high school last year. So she's already in WWE, in developmental, NXT roster, going up against Tiffany Stratton, who I believe is like 24, 25, I think. So she's young herself. And this match was really good. I thought this was one of the best matches of the night. Now, this match was a submission match. So the only way you can win this match is by making your opponent submit to your hold. So there are no pinfalls in this match. So I thought this match was really good. Both Tiffany and Thea had great timing in the ring. They both were able to sell their spots. Tiffany Stratton was working on Thea Hale's back, selling the back, and eventually she would, put the submission hold on her with her back, while Thea was going after the shoulder and the arm, both trying to injure each other's limbs. And the timing was really good on it. The spots were good on it. For two women that are very young and don't have too much experience, they look like they were veterans out there, and it worked really well. They played to the crowd well. Tiffany obviously is a heel. Thea is the baby face. So they were definitely behind Thea Hale. So she got the sympathy from the crowd, and Tiffany Stratton got the heat from the crowd. So it worked really nice, and it went back and forth. Thea was able to put the arm lock on Tiffany Stratton, almost made her tap out, but she reached for the rope or got out of it. And then Tiffany Stratton kept working on the back, and then eventually put the like a half Boston Crab on, kind of like a Walls of Jericho type. Put her knee on her back, and I thought the ending was pretty creative. Thea Hale didn't tap out, but Andre Chase of Chase U ended up throwing in the towel. So by throwing in the towel, as you know, that means the match is stopped, and Tiffany Stratton is still your NXT Women's Champion. The right call. I like this, Tiffany going over. I don't think Thea's there yet as far as being an NXT Women's Champion, but Tiffany Stratton, obviously a good heel. She's got the look. She's got the personality of a heel, and kind of maybe it's just me, but she's kind of filling that Mandy Rose spot. Mandy Rose is a heel, this attractive, arrogant person, and Tiffany Stratton plays that to a T. And she's getting better and better in the ring. Now, again, I want to remind everybody with NXT, most of these, wrestlers that are performing are, they're young. Some of them from the independent scene, like Blair Davenport, Carmelo Hayes. Then you got NXT upstarts like, Tiffany Stratton, Thea Hale. So, I don't try and like bury this too much, if they're bad matches, because again, they're learning on the fly. They're getting experience, and that's the most important thing, to getting that experience to ultimately get up to the main roster. So, but with this match, the women's match, I thought it was better than expected, and both of them deserve a lot of praise. Both looked really good, and they're just going to get better and better. So this one might go on for a little bit, but I think ultimately, Stratton's going to have another opponent down the line. Possibly Roxanne Perez, maybe back into the title mix. Trying to think any other. Don't know at the moment, but I assume Roxanne will probably be the next challenger down the line, and NXT will have their next premium live event, No Mercy, Saturday, September 30th, I believe that's the date. So that'll be probably when Tiffany Stratton will defend her title again. She may defend that before that as well, but I'm assuming her next opponent's probably going to be Roxanne Perez, or most likely. So stay tuned for that. And before we get to our main event, we got a few more comments here. Let me get to them. Let's see. Scott Taylor, Ben knows his sheet. Comment, like, and share. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Pee-wee would go see the Barbie movie. Maybe. I hope he did. Paul Rubin, rest in peace, Paul Rubens, aka Pee-wee Herman. That's right. Thank you, Sean. Looks like Luna Vachon, you're referring to the late Adrian Street. Yeah. Real quick, Adrian Street has a documentary on WWE or Peacock. Came out about a year or two ago. Pretty interesting documentary. It's like a hour long, but that'll give you more insight of who he was. Like I said, he was a very talented performer in the 70s and 80s in Europe, and he came to the States, wrestled in a few territories, and did very well. So, yeah, check his story out. I like watching the ladies better than the men. I'm sure you do, Scott. I love hardcore. Yep. I agree. Dominic has thrived in this role. Absolutely, Sean. And again, he's got the personality. He's picked it up. He's done really well. It's just from a wrestling standpoint, going to NXT for a little bit is going to help him improve on his wrestling skills. Not that he's bad, but he just needs the experience. And that's why he's got the North American title. And also, Dominic is a popular guy on WWE TV, so I think it definitely helps the NXT product grow, get them more noticeable. Having someone like Dominic on there, and again, having guys like Baron Corbin and some, like Judgment Day on there, kind of help get the ratings going, and NXT's ratings have improved. So with that WWE main roster crossover with NXT, so it is pretty cool to see. Alex Schomburg, thanks for tuning in, man. How you doing tonight? He says, "Hey everyone, it's good to see you, Alex." I'm sorry, Alec. Scott Taylor, Russell Hansborough. Okay. What's up, man? What's up, man? All right. So, let me take another swig here. Coke Zero. All right. Let's get to the main event. The main event is for the NXT Championship. The champion is Carmelo Hayes, or as he likes to call himself, him. He's got his buddy Trick Williams with him. Anyway, Carmelo's going up against Igor Dragunov, I should say. Sorry. Going up against Igor Dragunov. This was a very good match. Hard hitting. Both guys are very stiff in this match. They took a lot of chances, and really, the timing was really good in this. As you know, they've had a kind of a nice little program leading up to it. With Dragunov accidentally hitting Trick Williams in a couple of matches and causing some tension there. And, so we have this championship match. Like I said, Melo and Dragunov did a really good job. Really like Igor Dragunov. He's really cool, hardcore type of wrestler. He's going to take a lot of pain. He's going to dish out a lot of pain. And Carmelo Hayes, as you know, really liked him a lot. He was on the independent scene before he got to NXT. Saw some of his stuff there, up in the northeast part of the country. Really talented dude. I really like Melo. He's got the character down. I see him in the main roster sooner than later. He's just got all the attributes of a WWE performer, and he ends up winning this match. This went about 25 minutes. Carmelo hit his nothing but net move on Dragunov. After they're on the outside, Dragunov was trying to lunge toward Carmelo Hayes, but Melo ducked, and Trick Williams had the belt in his hand, and it hit Dragunov in the head by accident. And then Melo brought him back in the ring. Then he did his nothing but net. That move is where he does the leg drop off the top rope. Sort of like, if you remember Beautiful Bobby Eaton, he did that move in the 80s. And that's what Melo did there. It's called nothing but net. And Melo don't miss. And he hit it on Dragunov, got the win. And he remains the NXT champion. And overall, if you guys haven't seen this show yet, I would check it out. It's on Peacock. You can watch it now. Again, this was one of the better NXT shows or PLEs that I've seen in a while. I thought every match was pretty decent, and good. There was a few matches that were great. A couple of them were good, and the other was okay. Overall, out of 5, I'd probably give it a 4 out of 5. I thought it was a really good show. The NXT wrestlers, the men and women, really worked their ass off on this show, and they're all getting better and better. And like I said, I don't follow NXT every single week, but I'm going to try my best to. They seem to they're getting their product. It's a lot better. It's improving creatively. It's getting better. So hopefully they can keep this momentum going. And like I said, their next premium live event is going to be September 30th, I believe. It's called No Mercy. So they're taking some of the old pay-per-view names from WWE and putting them into NXT now. So you had Great American Bash. You had Battleground earlier on. Now you have No Mercy coming up. So it's kind of cool to see that and to bring back these names for the NXT shows. So it's pretty cool. All right. Well, that was the Great American Bash review there. And we're on the road to SummerSlam. As you know, this Saturday night, August 6th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. It is in Detroit, Michigan at Ford Field. Should be a hell of a crowd. I think they got up to like 40,000 for this show, so it should be very packed house. Should be a very exciting show. Fans will be exciting. Detroit's pretty cool wrestling town, so I don't expect anything less. As you know, we got Raw going on tonight, right now, and we'll go over the matches real quick. As you know, Cody against Brock, they had a little showdown there. Once again, Brock Lesnar got the best of Cody, beat him down. I think this has got to be where it ends. I don't think you want to do another match after this. I think this is the rubber match. It should end here, SummerSlam. And again, we'll go over predictions this weekend on the SummerSlam pre-show, but I just want to say I think this should end at SummerSlam, and then Cody can go on and do other stuff. Brock can, take some time off again and then come back around late fall, for like Survivor Series or Royal Rumble. Yeah, so that's one match. Finn Balor against Seth Rollins for the WWE World Championship. Finn Balor had a nice, heel promo selling the match. Right now, they got Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn going up against Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio. So in the main event. Also, we got, let's see. It was also announced this week on SmackDown. There'll be a Battle Royal, and LA Knight's going to be in it. Sheamus is going to be in it. And we found out Alpha Academy is going to be in it as well. There's be some other names thrown in there, but I assume that'll probably kick off the show for SummerSlam. We also got the Tribal Combat match, Jey Uso against Roman Reigns for the WWE Universal title. That should be a very good match. Just love the Bloodline storyline. It's every week it just gets better and better. It's probably one of the best storylines we've had in not just WWE, but in pro wrestling in a long time. It's just been such a great storyline, great story to follow. Roman Reigns has done well as the champ. He's been champion for 1,060 something days now. Again, just incredible storytelling. I've always said this, I'll say it again. Storytelling, characters, that's what gets you over. That's what makes wrestling great. The matches are good, don't get me wrong, but I prefer the storytelling and the characters to get to the match. Story first and then match. So anyway, again, I'm not going to predict anything yet because we're going to do that on the pre-show Saturday. We also got Logan Paul. He's going to go up against Ricochet. I'm not too interested in that match, but good for Ricochet. He's going to get a big spot on the show. It should be a very interesting match. Should be a high-flying match. Both guys can do a lot of aerial moves. And as you know, Logan Paul, internet sensation, boxer, YouTube star. So they're playing off that. And then we got the WWE women's title match, or SmackDown title. It's Asuka the champion against Charlotte and Bianca Belair. It's a triple threat match. You know how I feel about triple threat match. Not the biggest fan of them, but this one should be pretty good though. We'll see how it goes. I think all three of them are very talented. All three of them, can wrestle. They can the crowd gets behind him. Great chemistry between all three of these wrestlers. So I expect a really good match there. Also, we got the Intercontinental title. Gunther, he's going to defend against Drew McIntyre. Drew just came back at Money in the Bank. Should be an interesting match. This will be the first time they've both wrestled each other, so we'll see how that goes. I'm excited for that match. Gunther, has had the Intercontinental title for over a year now. I think he's his 400th day, actually. So he's held it for quite a long time. That's pretty impressive, especially these days in wrestling where title changes happen a little more frequently than they did, 30 years ago. So it's good to see, champions have held the belt for a while. And Gunther, man, I like him. I think he's going to eventually be a main eventer. He's really made that Intercontinental title relevant and make it mean something. That's what, the Intercontinental title, at least back when I was a wrestling fan back in the days, where you had champions like the Bret Hart or Mr. Perfect, that made that title feel so important and really prestigious. They said back in the day that was the working man's title, was the Intercontinental title. It's where, those are usually where you have the best wrestlers, the guys that can put on the best matches, so to speak. So Gunther's put on a lot of great matches. So, with him and Drew, I think it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good, hard hitting match. Can't wait to see it. So yeah. I'm trying to think what else some other matches on. I know there's got to be a couple other matches on the card. I did hear that there is rumor that The Rock could be in Detroit for SummerSlam, and if he is, the rumor would be he would possibly be on the Grayson Waller show. So that would be interesting because Grayson Waller, again, he's really gotten over very well on SmackDown. I know people say, well, he hasn't won a match yet, but wins and losses, it's pro wrestling, so I don't take the wins and losses too seriously. Grayson Waller's doing his part. He's doing it very well. So if he does have a segment with The Rock, Waller's going to get a good rub off that. So, I think that's a good thing. As long as you're on the show and you're in a very important spot, you're doing something right. And Grayson Waller's doing just that. He's doing something right. So, oh yeah, Becky and Trish. That's the other match at SummerSlam. Again, this rivalry's gone on for the past few months. It's been pretty good. Again, I won't predict it, but I do think this will be the last match for Trish Stratus for a little while. Becky's probably going to move on to possibly a match with Rhea Ripley, for the women's title on Raw. So, yeah. So this should be a very good show. I cannot wait for SummerSlam. This is, obviously we talked about Seth and Finn for the WWE World Title, Tribal Combat, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Becky and Trish, Gunther and Drew for the Intercontinental title, Logan Paul and Ricochet. Then we got the Battle Royal. I'm sure there's, Asuka, Charlotte, and Bianca for the WWE Women's title. I believe they haven't really announced it yet, but I think Rhea's going to defend the WWE Women's World title against Raquel Rodriguez. So if I left anything out, any match out, I apologize for that. That's just going off the top of my head. But yeah, that is the road to SummerSlam. So with that being said, let's finish up here with some of the comments. Let's see here. Sean Spencer, this Cody Rhodes versus Brock has totally made me forget about how Cody used to be after Roman's title. Yeah, I mean, I think it's been a pretty good feud. I do want it to end though. I think you don't want this thing to go on forever. 3 or 4 months is about right, and it's 1-1. The winner wins pretty much the rubber match, takes the series, and yeah, I think Cody's done really well in this feud. So is Brock, and Brock, again, what's great about Brock Lesnar, he's not there every week, so it makes him more special. Keeps him as a main attraction. And for Cody, this is that road he's traveling, as they say, to get to the ultimate destination. That's winning either the World Championship or the Universal Championship. So they're playing this, adversity kind of thing with Cody Rhodes, all the obstacles. And by the way, real quick, I want to just say that Cody Rhodes has this documentary out, The American Nightmare. It's on Peacock now. I'm going to be watching that after we get off here tonight. So I'll tell you more about it this weekend, but I do want to see that documentary. It's been a lot of people have said who have seen the pre-tape of it. It's really good. So Scott says Lenny Ribon. Hope I said it right. Lenny Ribon, say hi to my friend Ben. Okay, thank you, Scott. Hi to Lenny. All respect to Gunther, but I'm ready for the title to change hands. I kind of like it still, but you gotta have a good opponent for Gunther, to dethrone him. I don't know who that is at the moment, but if Gunther's going to lose the title, it's got to benefit the other guy. You don't want to just have Gunther lose it just to lose it. You want to make it mean something, and whoever that'll be, it's got to help him out. It's got to help build him just as much as it helps Gunther. So I expect Gunther to have the title for a while. A little while longer. I kind of made a prediction already for this Saturday, but yeah, he's done well with the titles, so I'm not bored with it too much. But I see what you're saying, though, Sean. You'd like to see somebody else have the title. That's fair. I'm glad Gunther has been given more airtime. He deserves it. Yeah, absolutely. Him and Imperium have been incredible. Really like them a lot as a group. They good heel group. There's been rumors about them breaking up possibly, and I think they will eventually, but I don't see that right now. So Sean, do you think Trish will stay on the active roster after this feud ends? I doubt it. Sean, because she does a lot of stuff. She's got her yoga stuff going on. She does the Canadian version of America's Got Talent in Canada, so she's like a judge on the panel. So from what I've read, this is really like a part-time feud for her. But I'm sure she'll be back. Maybe she will be right away. Maybe she won't go away right away, but I am hearing that she might be done after SummerSlam. So we'll see. We'll see about that. She's done well since she's come back. So, I've been a huge fan of Trish Stratus from day one. Her rivalry with Lita, Victoria, Mickie James. I mean, Trish is one of the greatest and the biggest trailblazer for women's wrestling in WWE history. So it's good to see her. And I mean, you look at her. Whew, I mean, you would think she's only like in her 20s or 30s. I mean, she just definitely stays in tip-top shape. Still performing at a high level. So it's great to have her back for a little nostalgia, as and it's helped with Becky Lynch. Becky wanted to. It's been rumored for over a year now that Becky wanted to feud with Trish. Have that program with her. So and it's been pretty good. So yeah, a lot of fun. Sean Culkin, come have a say here. Okay. Is he related to Macaulay, or I don't know. Scott, there, I'm trying to get some of my pro football and Mizzou players to tune in. Well, I appreciate that. I do, Scott. Appreciate you doing that. Thank you for spreading the word. Yeah, hopefully they'll watch and come on in the comments. So, again, thank you very much for Scott and everybody for spreading the word out. And as always, bring this up right here. Yeah, there we are. Yes, please like and share. Yeah, tell everybody, all your friends, like and share and subscribe to this to my YouTube channel at Ben Cornett 9015. They're in Facebook. Join the Ben Zone Facebook group. So yeah, and on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it now, BennyBoy702. So that's greatly appreciated. And everyone, I greatly appreciate everybody for watching tonight. This was a lot of fun. We'll be back, like I said. Let me bring that up one more time. As you know, the Saturday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, we're going to do a pre-show, SummerSlam pre-show, get you all hyped up, give predictions out before SummerSlam starts. So, yeah, I cannot wait. I'll try and get some guests on here, see if they want to come on with me. And, if not, then I'll be on. I'll predict the winners and who I think is going to win their matches. Just shoot the breeze here and get you ready for SummerSlam this Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on Peacock. Or if you're outside of the U.S., it'll be on the WWE Network. So, yeah, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and bow out for the night, but I want to thank everyone who tuned in tonight. Thank you guys, Sean Spencer, Scott Thaler, for the comments. Appreciate that. And Sean says, I should be free. I'll hop on. Okay, Sean, I will send you the link. And if you can make it on there, great, man. We'll talk SummerSlam, get you ready to watch the show. This should be a lot of fun, man. So appreciate that. And I appreciate everybody tuning in. So, guys, that's all for now. And we'll see you this Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Face to Heels. Everybody, have a good week and take care.